Good afternoon and welcome. Welcome to another presentation of the Associated Student Speakers Program. We're very happy that you've joined us, especially during Dead Week, and we're kind of glad we can make Dead Week a little brighter. Campus Events is very proud to be hosting this show today. I guess this is a guest that's kind of near and dear to all of our hearts. She has been acting in daytime television for 12 years and is one of the central characters on ABC's All My Children. She has developed the character of Erica Kane extensively, bringing her own style to the role of the girl you love to hate. But the bad girl of daytime might be breaking out. She's presently in town to film her first telefeature, a primetime ABC television movie entitled Club. Her co-star in that project is Robert Urich. She'll be talking about that, and she'll be answering your questions about her life and her work in just a little bit. But first of all, I'd like to bring her out right now. Please give a very warm UCLA welcome to Susan Lucci.
Thank you. Oh, thank you so much. Thank you. Oh, it's so good to see you. It's great to be here, and it's great to see you. We work on a closed set all the time, and we know the cameramen aren't allowed to laugh at any of the jokes. It's great to know you're out here. Thank you for that warm welcome.
First, here, can I have that?
Yes.
First, now I'd like to introduce the USAC Student Body President, Ben Vandebunt, who is here to help me make a very special presentation to Ms. Lucci. Ben, I'll let you handle the mic.
Yeah, on behalf of the student body of UCLA, I get to do something I've been dreaming about all year, and that is make you an honorary UCLA Bruin. So here we have a UCLA sweatshirt. You now get to go to all our classes with us and every day, so there we go.
Thank you. I've been dreaming about that. Thank you so much. This is terrific. Over the years, I've gotten some letters from people at UCLA. Some of them have been really subtle. Some of them have been things like, we want your body at UCLA. So here I am, and basically, I'd like to answer any questions you have. I know some of you sit back and talk to the TV. Well, now you can talk to somebody who's maybe can answer your questions. Yes? Actually, Erica did have a breakdown a few years ago. I don't know if any of you remember that, but she was eating Sara Lee cakes at one sitting. Loaves of French bread. Mona was saying, Erica, what has happened to you? You're losing your mind, girl. And they put me in the home, and I came back as my rehabilitated self. Yes? I always believe in that was then and this is now. And I have to say, Nick Cervi, who played Mike Roy, the writer, that wasn't Pine Valley, that was New York. He was terrific. And actually, I think Pine Valley's best. I never got to experience this firsthand, but I always had a feeling that Dak Rambo, who played Steve Jacoby, was probably very hot.
If you have a question, could you please step to one of the sides of the ballrooms? There are microphones there. Thanks.
Anybody else? Come on over here. Come to the microphone so everybody can hear your question. Oh, Mickey Mouse, that's great. Now I know
What do you
him in
think
LA.
your funniest moment working on the show's been?
For me, the thing that made me laugh, well, there were two, actually. One, I was in the hospital. I was trying to get Nick Davis's attention. Do you remember Nick Davis, my ex-father-in-law? Well, I was in love with him, and he wanted me to live with him. I wanted to get married. He left town rather than marry me. So I went to New York and did what every red-blooded girl did. I almost died in the hospital to get his attention. And he came to see me, and we were making up. And he was in my room visiting me, and I was recovering, and suddenly the phone rang. And he went to get the phone, and the prop guys forgot to put the phone on the set, so he took the bouquet of flowers. He said, "It's for you." And then the other thing, I think this was on the blooper show recently. I was in disguise. This was last summer. I was upset about something, and I ran to the Poconos. And I had, I was in a blonde wig, very incognito, and big dark glasses, and I came to visit my brother Mark. And he answered the door. I came in. I said, "Don't stand there, Mark. It's me." And the rug came right out from under me, and I was glad.
That was funny.
Those were the funniest. Yes.
How did it feel at kiss time last week?
He's great, too. He was really good. Yes.
I've counted 9 leading men on your show, and with you, and I was wondering, do you have any say as to who gets picked? Like with Kent Bogard, you know?
Actually, the say that I have is not a direct say. When Agnes Nixon, who creates our show, is interested in bringing on a new leading man for anybody, we go and they narrow it down. They have mass auditions, and then when they get down to the final 3 or 4 or 5, they have me audition on camera with the prospective actors, because I think all of the men at that point are very competent and good actors, and I think they're looking for maybe a certain chemistry or a certain way that we might play off each other. In that way, I have say. But that's something that really just happens naturally, or it doesn't.
Uh-huh. Thank you.
I have a question. Of all the awful things Erica has done, what do you think is the worst?
Do you think Erica has done awful things?
Just a few.
She's just a girl trying to have a terrific life. I don't really know what to say to you. Actually,
Something just came to your mind, right?
yes, this coming week, this was pretty bad. Okay, this is a scoop, I guess, because I don't know if it's been on the air or not. Erica marries Adam Chandler. Mm-hmm. You saw that on Friday, right?
Stupid.
Boo.
It's bad.
And he did not take her to L.A. to make that movie. He took her to St. Thomas, and he gave the part to Danielle Farrar. I mean, who? Danielle Farrar? Eric is not happy, you might imagine, and she escapes from St. Thomas, and she does really horrendous things to Danielle.
Uh-oh.
It's on tomorrow or the next day.
Do you ever think they'll let Erica become a mother?
That was my question.
There are some who would think that she already is.
Yes, I know you were pregnant once.
I don't think those are in the immediate plans.
All right.
No. Agnes Nixon and I have talked about that. She really thinks that Erica is such a child herself that she would be a very, very bad mother, and this is not something Agnes would like to see portrayed. Yes.
Hi.
Hi.
Okay, I just wanted to tell you that you're wonderful, first of all.
Oh, thank you.
And are they planning on bringing back Silver? I'm sorry, I like you better, but I was just curious.
Do you mean the real Silver, my real half-sister in Mexico, or do you mean the girl who was pretending?
The fake one, yeah.
The fake one?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, no.
Or the real one. Are they going to bring the real one?
I don't know.
Oh, okay.
I really don't know. I doubt that they'll bring back the fake one.
Mm.
I'm sorry, I can't be more help. I just don't know. Yes? Oh, I thought you were waiting online. I'm sorry. Yes.
Do you think Erica will ever have a marriage that would last?
I think first Erica needs to go to charm school. She needs to go to school, period. It's questionable whether she ever got out of high school. I think she's not at all introspective. You know, she thinks that she's pretty wonderful. So I don't think there's any chance that she will improve. And so I don't think her chances are very good.
Okay, one more question.
Yes.
When you meet people on the streets, do they ever have any comments they give you, good or bad? Mostly bad?
Most people, I think, most people in audiences today, when I was growing up, I would read stories about how women who were on soap operas playing villains were accosted on the street and someone had acid almost thrown in their face, and really horrendous things. But I think audiences now are very sophisticated, probably because of talk shows mainly, and interviews, and they know that we're actors and actresses playing parts. I think most people are just plain excited to see somebody they recognize from TV. Lately, people have been saying to me, "Don't marry Adam." Yeah.
Okay.
Yes.
Is there anything about Erica that you would like to change?
I'd like her to be taller. Yes.
Susan, which character do you enjoy working with the best?
Oh. Mike Roy. He's a terrific actor, and I also like working very much with Mark, my brother Mark, and both these actors for the same reason. They have a lot of confidence, and they're full of surprises, and I like that very much. They know their lines very well, but the surprises come in the way we play together, on camera, and I think that adds a lot of sparkle. I'm not sure. I saw Nick recently. He's out here right now, and he's considering going back. My contract, too, is up March 31st, I must tell you. And I haven't made any firm decisions either, but we're all talking, and everything is very friendly, and things look certainly possible. Thank you. Yes.
Do you have any relatives in show business?
No, I don't. There's a football player, Mike Lucci, and everybody thinks that we're related, and as much as I say, no, we're not, people still seem to think we are, but we are not. I don't have any relatives in the business.
My heart's beating 1,000 times a minute.
Thank you.
I just wanted to tell you, I was in New York a couple years ago, and I wanted to go see the taping, and I was disappointed because the place was closed. And I ended up seeing the Statue of Liberty, and I'd rather have seen you than the Statue of Liberty.
Oh. Thank you.
But could I ask you one favor? Could I please take a picture with you right now?
Oh, sure. Please, come here. It's great to meet you. Thank you. Yes.
How do you juggle your family life and your career? How do you handle that conflict?
It is a conflict, and it is difficult to handle it in terms of there are just so many hours in the day. Vitamins help me a lot. Also, I have a husband who's behind me 100%, who loves what I do, and I have 2 children who are really happy, great little kids, and so I'm very, very fortunate that way. I have all that good stuff to start from. And then something has to give when you work in a business like mine, which is very demanding, and when you also want to have a wonderful personal life. And so what's given for me is I don't go out to lunch with my friends very much, and I don't play as much tennis as I used to. I spend 99% of my free time with my family. But it's paid off because they're terrific, and it's working out.
Good. Thanks.
Thank you. Yes.
First of all, you're just excellent.
Thank you.
And where did you gain most of your training?
I graduated from Marymount College in Tarrytown, New York. I think you have a branch here, too. In fact, I'm quite sure you do. All our drama faculty was from the Yale School of Drama. And so really it was from these people from Yale who I received most of my training from. Then when I went to New York after I had been in All My Children for a while, I studied with Harold Klorman at his midnight classes for 3 months, 2 times a week. And that was so thrilling. This was the year before he died. It was very exciting. I mean, this man spoke about Paris in the 20s, and under any other circumstances, one would think, oh, how boring or how arrogant for somebody to get a group of actors together at midnight and talk about Paris in the 20s. But this man at 73, I think he was, had more energy and more to share with us than anyone I've ever met. It was very exciting.
Thank you.
Yes.
I'd like to tell you that we are so determined to watch you here that we keep a small black and white TV up in the art building, and about 20 of us gather every day to watch.
Thank you.
Now that Erica has married Adam Chandler, she's a multimillionaire, will she use any of her influence with Adam to help out Palmer?
You betcha. Palmer's been terrific. I love to work with Jimmy Mitchell, too, who plays Palmer. This man has such timing. It's kind of like working with what I imagine Cary Grant would be like.
Also, I was wondering if you could, we have a portrait of you. We'd like you to sign it for our shrine. It's right up there. It's right up there.
Excuse me. Oh, that's very good. Thank you so much. I'm so flattered. Thank you so much. Yes.
What do you think would be the effect of playing a role, having played a role like Erica, on the success of a future film career away from All My Children?
I used to think about that a great deal. So far, it hasn't hindered me, fortunately. It was mentioned in the introduction that I am out here doing a film for TV called The Club. And I wonder, quite frankly, if it would have been offered to me in the manner it was, had I not been playing a character that was well thought of as I am.
Is the character you portray in that film somewhat similar to the Erica Kane role?
Well, when I tell you what it is, you'll probably think so, but I don't think of that when I'm playing it, and to me, she's quite separate. The film is called The Club, and that's the working title. It takes place in Silicon Valley, where there are a lot of corporations involving computers and so on. And really, the film is an indictment on the corporate climb, where belonging to this club, this country club, becomes the be-all and end-all of people's existence, and they get a better jockeying position on the corporate ladder. I play Miss Jones, who is the head of the club, and who says who can join and who can't. And actually, they take the indictment rather far, because the truth is that Miss Jones is, Jessica Jones, is the devil in the guise of a woman. So, I mean, it's really taking the villainy quite far. Yes?
This is really a comment, not a question, but I get a lot of flack from my intellectual friends about watching your show, but I think it's the best show on TV, primetime, daytime. The conflicts, the pacing, and
Thank you.
It also has the most real characters, I think, on any soap especially. But it's just it's a really good show, and I think you're a very nice woman for playing such a bitch. You're a very nice woman in real life.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
But don't cross me. Yes?
Assuming you were to pick primetime over daytime, do you think they would kill off the Erica character or replace her? Or would come back periodically?
I guess they'd get Joan Collins to come in and play the part. I don't know what they would do. Certainly the show would continue. No, it's, be real here. And But I don't know what they would do. Normally, when they have a major character leave, they like to leave things in a state of possibility for the next year or so. So I guess they would leave the doors open. But I'm not sure. I really don't know. So, thank you. Yes.
A lot of soap stars use soap operas as a stepping stone into other careers in stage and films, and I was wondering why you've waited so long to make the transition.
I think partly because when I started, Erica was a 15-year-old high school girl, and I looked quite realistically around me, both at the industry and at that time, and my peers who were leaving. And the truth of the matter was I had a lot to learn. Although my training was very good, I had a lot to learn. And the only parts I felt that I would be getting would be somebody's daughter or somebody's girlfriend. I get a pat on the fanny and sent out of the room. You know, that's really the way things were going. And now that I am all grown up, also the industry is different, and there are many more wonderful parts out there for women. When I was playing the 15-year-old high school girl, I wouldn't have been equipped to play the parts for women anyhow, but now I am. I think the timing is pretty much just right for me.
Thank you.
Also, I'd just like to say something. I think in the past there was a feeling that being on a daytime show was a stepping stone. And certainly if you can perform on a daytime show, you can do it almost anywhere because the hours are long. We do an hour show a day as opposed to most primetime, which is an hour show a week. So we do things you really have to deliver or you're off the show, because I don't think anybody in the audience would accept a hack performance that just doesn't go down anymore. And so I think that people just feel now that with the attention that certainly All My Children has received in General Hospital, that these are places to be in and of themselves. Okay. Yes.
I wanted to say, first of all, that seeing you here and seeing your openness and friendliness is such a testament to your ability to portray who you portray, because you have gotten me so angry sometimes. I can't tell you. And just being able to go and watch the soap like this when we're going through things like finals or school and all the pressure we're under, and lots of people do ridicule us, you know, for watching it because it seems like a waste of time or something, but you can vent a lot of hostility through people like you, I'm sorry. And you know, you behave so badly that it's easier almost to go out then and deal with everything else that's going on there in the real world, you know, when you turn off the television. And also, if I'm ever in New York and you want to have lunch at Kirby's, you know, just we'll talk about it, and you know, you can tell me all the latest scoop. Anyway, thank you for coming and talking to us too.
Thank you. Yes.
Well, first of all, you change your hairstyle about every other week, and it always looks great.
Oh, thank you.
So I was going to ask you who does your hair and if you ever wear a wig on the show.
Oh, that's an interesting question. I've never worn a wig on the show. I have worn. Do you remember the shoot at the Metropolitan Museum?
The big modeling thing.
That was so much fun. There were some hairdos where there were actually fans in my hair, and there were fans of hair in between those fans. Some of that hair was mine and some of it wasn't. I cut my hair about 2 months ago, about 6 inches, so there was more hair at that point to work with. A woman by the name of Marie-Ange Ripka, a French woman, does my hair in New York.
Ah. Do they care if you cut your hair, or do you have to consult with them?
Oh, I usually tell them if I'm thinking about it, and as long as I don't cut it very, very short, they're happy, because they like my character to have a lot of change.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
Do you feel if any other soap actresses parts are as deceitful as Erica's in daytime or primetime?
As deceitful?
As sly?
As sly? No, oh no. Erica is the slyest.
Oh, really?
Yes.
I have 2 questions. The first one is, do you get to keep all the really fancy clothes that you wear? Or are they yours, or do they lend them to you, or do they give them to you after you wear them?
All the clothes on All My Children are bought for each of us, but they are not our personal property. They belong to All My Children and therefore ABC, who owns All My Children. And my clothes are kept, I have 2 closets, as you might have guessed, as opposed to 1. And my clothes are locked in the wardrobe designer's room because they really are quite valuable.
So if
she
you wanna
buys me
wear 'em-
one-of-the-kind things and wonderful clothes.
If
I'm
you
very
wanted to wear them
lucky.
for a party or something that a lot of people would be there, could you wear them? Could you just borrow one or something?
The truth is, the request has to be made in writing at least 2 days ahead of time, and it has to be a media event. Preferably that will help ABC. That's really the criteria, and they make that judgment.
My second question is, do you find yourself, after work, if you're really tired or something and in a really crappy mood, do you find yourself having trouble separating yourself from your character?
It's funny, when I auditioned for the part of Erica, I was just out of school, and I really recognized her in me. And I think there's some of Erica in everybody. There's still some of her in me, but I've been working, trying to put those characteristics to the back of my personality instead of right here. When I'm tired, certainly they kind of sneak forward. But on a day-to-day basis, I'm conscious of putting Erica on, but the minute I go out of the studio, that's it. I really don't take her home with me. It's kind of like cramming for a chemistry exam. You know all that stuff while you're doing it, but the minute you're over there, you're out of there.
Thank you.
I have 2 questions. First is, do you have any flexibility with the scripts? Are you allowed to improv at all, or do you maintain the word for word of the scripts?
I try to maintain word for word in the script. If there are some words that look better on the printed page than they sound said out loud, I might talk to the director in the morning about that. Because it's not, first of all, you can't improv because the timing. There is somebody on a stopwatch first thing in the morning with us while we're having a rehearsal. The show has to be very tightly timed. Even the fade-outs are timed. Even that black space is timed. Because the commercials, of course, are the bottom line, and they have to be played. The other thing is that it's not fair to your fellow actors if you're saying lines they've never heard before, because they don't know what to reply. And sometimes what you're saying is a music cue or a lighting cue that we're not even aware of, because while we're playing the scenes, we're not hearing the music and all of that played to the floor. So no, there isn't very much improv.
And my next question is, because All My Children is so popular and so is the character of Erica, why would you even consider leaving?
I guess because I like to do other things. Because in the last year and a half, I really have been branching out and enjoying it. And if there's a way to work it out that I can play both Erica and come out here and do film, or I also made my Broadway musical comedy debut this fall. If there's a way to work that all out so I can do all those things, I would love to do that. Yes.
Earlier you said that Mark Dalton and Mike Roy were your favorite male actors to work with. I was
Yes.
wondering who your favorite female actresses were to work
Oh, well, I have to think a lot about that. Julia Barr, who plays Brooke. She's terrific.
with. And
I also like very much working with Ruth Warwick, who plays Phoebe.
Hi,
Yes.
all of us have made a really big sacrifice of being here today because we're missing the show right now. And so I was wondering if you could give us a little insight as to what is happening right now on the show.
Well, I really think right now I'm in bed with Adam in St. Thomas. I didn't want to do it, but
Do you know what any of the other characters are up to today?
I really don't. I'm sorry. We're a month ahead of time now. We have to get 5 weeks ahead for the Olympics. We're going to lose manpower and equipment during that time. So at this moment, we're a month ahead, and I'm afraid I just can't keep track. I'm sorry.
One more thing also, I just wanted to ask you, do you ever get to see the other scenes as they're being filmed, or does everyone kind of just stick to them?
It's a little difficult to see the other scenes, and that's why I am a little ignorant of what's going on with the other characters right now. Our studio is about the size of this room, which is about the size of a city block. Maybe it's a little bit longer. And all the sets are around the outside of this studio, and the cameras and the the booms and the actors are moving all around from set to set. And if I'm in one set all day, as I was in that St. Thomas set, I might be here, and way down at the other end, Phoebe and Donna might be having a scene, and I have no idea what's going on. So I'm sorry. At 67th Street and Columbus Avenue, New York, there's a Pine Valley.
Yeah, I have a question.
Yes.
I'd like to know how you keep a straight face when you do some of those scenes that you do with Mona. Saw last week with the pigtails and lying on and she was lying on the bed.
It's not easy. We do a lot of laughing in rehearsals. Fortunately, I work with a company of actors and directors who are really bright and really funny, and we have get all the laughter out in rehearsal so we can play the scenes for real.
Thank you.
Yes, Miss Lucci, I've been spending the last 7 years convincing my 84-year-old grandfather that you're not a witch and that you're just an actress. And I called him last night and told him that you were going to be here and I was going to be here, and he made me a bet that hopefully you can decide once and for all. He bet that you wouldn't agree, and I said, well, there's a chance. And I was wondering if you'd like to go out to dinner this evening. If there's a problem, I'm paying wherever you'd like to go. You would turn a couple blocks in Chicago upside down, I can guarantee you.
Thank you very much.
So that's a yes?
I'll see you after the show.
Deal.
Hi.
Hi.
I was wondering if you could tell us whether Brooke and Tom get back together, and if they do, is your little rendezvous ever exposed?
Let's see. I have sworn Tom to secrecy, never to tell anybody. But naturally, Tom is not too strong. So Brooke does find out. Not a good scene.
Thank you.
Any other questions? Yes?
How do you and the other actors and actresses get along?
Really very, very well. People who come in, actors who come in to be day players or do an under 5 once in a while on our show, really never fail to comment on the good feelings they get in our studio. We're a very congenial group. We get along very, very well.
Okay, and as your character in Erica, you think you're very beautiful. I agree, but how do you feel about that personally? I mean, like right now when you're Susan Lucci.
I don't think I understand.
Are you as conceited as Erica Kane is?
Oh! Thanks. I didn't go to high school. I needed it spelled out. I'm sorry. You know, Erica's very big on saying she's the most beautiful, she's the most wonderful. I don't know how many of you have watched kind of from the beginning or saw any of the scenes in between. But Erica's father was a very famous filmmaker who left her mother when Erica was about 7. And although Erica's always saying, I'm terrific, the truth of the matter is she really feels her father left her, and that her father left her because she wasn't lovable enough to hold him. So a lot of what she says is bravado. She's trying to convince herself that she is lovable and that she is worth something. And that's why, too, she collects men, why she goes through so many men. Someone asked me before, do I think Erica will ever have a lasting relationship? I don't think so, because once she's won the man, she feels that she's proven that she's lovable and she has to have more proof. She's a little emotionally disabled. She really is.
But you didn't answer my question.
Thank you. I take your question as a compliment. I try not to.
I don't consider Erica really conceited. She's just convinced.
She's trying to convince herself.
Okay, thank you.
Okay.
Hello? I'm talking to Erica. First of all, everybody says you're deceitful. I just think you're kind of dumb on the show. I mean, Erica's dumb. I don't think you're deceitful. I just don't think you know better. Because everybody says that you're such a witch, and I think you're great. You know, I love the character. You're really
Thank you.
But what I want to say is, I graduated high school about the same time, the same year all my children started. So I've always thought that we're the same age. But age is not mentioned on soap operas, and I was wondering either how old you think Erica's supposed to be, or if you'd say how old you are, or...
Well, Erica is 28. I started when she was 15. I'm a little older.
Didn't you graduate, though, from high school the first year all my children started? And that was 1969, wasn't it?
No, it didn't start
Oh, it
until
didn't?
1970, till the end of 1970.
I thought you and Phil and everybody graduated high school at that time, but you were still in it, huh?
We were still in it. And that's when I convinced Tara's older brother, Jeff, to come back from Stanford Medical School and
Right.
finish at Pine Valley U. Was a good
Right.
move.
You're terrific.
Thank you.
Miss Lucci, hi. I have a
Yes.
question about your personal life. I know
Yes.
Erica she's had 3 or 4 wrecked marriages. I'm wondering if you've had as bad luck in your marriages also.
No, I've been a lot luckier than Erica. I've only been married one time, and I'm still married to the same man, and it gets better and better and better.
Thank you.
Yes.
First, on behalf of my mom, who watches you very avidly year after year, and gives her entertainment every day from 12 to 1, I'd like to thank you. She asked me to do that over the phone
Oh,
last
thank
night. So,
you.
from Sandra Giles,
Say
thank
hello
you,
to her
Erica.
for me.
Also, you've mentioned a couple times, briefly you've alluded about the filming schedule, and what I'm curious about, I know it's a very hectic routine. It's 5 days a week. It goes year-round instead of breaking off. If you could be a little more descriptive about it and talk about what a filming schedule is like for a soap.
Okay, basically, we do a 95-page script a day. I usually do 50 of those pages, sometimes 60, sometimes 40, but in that neighborhood. We start rehearsing at 7:30 in the morning. In what looks like a cafeteria, I couldn't believe it. We have bridge chairs and tables, and the director moves them around to make Erica's living room, or Adam Chandler's living room, or Brooke and Tom's, or Kirby's. And when I first went there, I thought, this is ABC. This is New York, the Big Apple. This looks like school. And that's really what our rehearsal hall looks like upstairs in the morning. We rehearse from 7:30 until 10, and then at 10 we go downstairs in that building onto the floor, onto the studio floor, with the cameras and the lighting people, and go through the same thing all over again, except that rehearsal's really a technical rehearsal. That's not for us. That's really so they can set lights and music and camera shots. And then we break for lunch for an hour and 15 minutes. At the end of that hour and 15 minutes, we are supposed to be in full makeup, hair, and dress, because we have what is a combination of a dress rehearsal run-through after lunch that takes a couple of hours because we stop. And then we get notes. The director tells us how bad we are and what we have to do to whip ourselves into shape really fast. And then we touch up makeup and hair and go and shoot it. We start shooting around 4:30 or 5 in the afternoon, and we finish about 7. It's roughly a 12-hour day. In the beginning, when the show was just half an hour, we shot and there was almost no stopping done. But in the last few years, there's a lot of special effects. We've gone on location, and there are generic shots every day where they'll take an aerial shot of New York City, or you'll see Palmer Cortland's lights going into the Cortland Manor at midnight, you know, and then fade into the inside. So production's gotten much more complicated, and therefore they do a lot more stopping, and it takes a while longer. Yes?
I have 2 questions. One is, what do you see yourself doing? What's your ultimate dream in next 5 years, next 10 years, with the amount of success that you've had at this point? Where do you see yourself being in your future? What would you like? What's your dream come true?
I'd like to do more work. I really enjoy being an actress very much. It's a very fun life to try on all those different hats and see how they fit and play those characters. I'd like to do it in other areas. I'm happy, you know, playing Erica. She's a tour de force for an actress. But I'd like to go elsewhere too, and I'd like to do more film. I'd like to do a Broadway play for a limited run. It's exciting to be in front of an audience. I've worked on closed sets for so long that I had forgotten what a thrill it is to get up in front of a live audience.
Thank you. Okay. Also, I'd like to know, what kind of a role does the director play as far as how well you do? Is that really important for you, or you feel like you could do it without him?
I feel the director is very important. First of all, in a technical medium like film or television, they have so much expertise in an area that I don't have any idea about. When I go into the control room, it looks like NASA to me. They have buttons on buttons, you know. I don't even understand 2 words in sequence in the editing room. It's a whole other world. So they are very important in technical mediums. And in any medium, whether it's on stage or on film or TV, I depend very heavily on the director for that objective viewpoint. As an actress, I think one of the worst habits someone can have is watching themselves as they perform. I mean, I try very much never to think of what I look like or what I'm doing, just to think of Erica's thoughts, or in this case, Jessica Jones' thoughts out here in this film, what she wants to achieve. And that director, I need him to tell me if it's working. I really depend very heavily on the director.
Thank you.
Yes.
Yeah, I was wondering if the intimate relationships that you have with all the men on TV, if that causes any problems with your family, your husband, or...
I have to say no. My husband is terrific. I mean, he knows I go home to him at night, and we know all these people, and he's really secure. He's terrific. If the shoe were on the other foot, though, I am so jealous. I could never do it. I mean, I could never stand to see him kissing all those women. I would hate it.
Thank you.
Just lucky it worked out this way. Yes.
Susan, I watch All My Children, and I also watch Dynasty, and I want to tell you first that I respect your individual characteristics when compared against Joan Collins, but I do see parallels too. Do you see your character as Erica developing into kind of the type of character that Joan Collins plays as Alexis in that middle-aged type of form? Are there similarities that you see between the two of you?
Do you mean that Erica might develop into Alexis
Into an Alexis,
at some point?
right.
I don't know. 2020 did a piece on me last year saying that because of Erica's success and All My Children's success, Dynasty was kind of a clone of that. And that Joan Collins' character was, yeah, what Erica might grow up to be. But I personally don't see as much vulnerability in the Alexis character. I don't know where she's coming from. I mean, I think Joan Collins does a very good job, but I think it's a different type of character. I think she's a little harder edged.
Do you think it's because we haven't seen her evolution as we've seen Erica's from
Perhaps,
the past 10 years?
but there still could be moments. There still could be moments picked to demonstrate that, either in storyline or by the actor and the director. I just haven't seen it yet.
Thank you.
Okay. Yes.
Hi. I was wondering if you could show us how Erica Kane would turn down a proposition such as your earlier one for lunch.
Well, Erica wouldn't turn it down.
Okay. Thank you.
Okay. Yes.
Oh, hi.
Hi.
I represent all the gentlemen here at UCLA, and gentlemen believe that ladies should have flowers. I have one for you.
Oh, thank you. Oh, thank you very much. Thank you. That's beautiful.
We have time for 2 more questions.
Okay.
So over here first.
Yes?
Hi.
Hi.
I'd just like to say that one of the funniest scenes I've ever seen was Erica's screen test. I really like that scene. And I think they should let her do the movie anyway.
Pardon me?
I think they should let her do the movie anyway.
Oh, me too.
She is great. And,
that talent is going to waste.
I especially like the relationship that Erica has with Jenny. And I think it really shows the human side of Erica and how good a person she can really be. And I'd just like to know what it's like working with Kim Delaney. I really like her.
Oh, she's very nice. I like her very much, too.
Is she a lot like her character? Because she's just the nicest person. No one could ever be that nice.
Oh, she's very nice, yes,
yeah.
but...
Oh, I know. Well, really, she can't be perfect, I'm sure.
Well, I think perfect is boring. I think Kim is not as boring. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I think Kim's a lot livelier than that.
Right. Thank you.
Okay. Yes.
Hello. I was just wondering what if you could tell us what Erica's going to do with all the money she's going to get from Adam Chandler after she divorces him.
Oh. Actually, Erica in her mind doesn't intend to divorce him. and she wouldn't sign that prenuptial marriage agreement, which I guess if she does decide to divorce him puts her in a better position. I'm sure she'll come up with a terrific idea for all that money. Maybe she'll make her own movie and star herself. Thank you. Thank you so much. It's been terrific talking to you. Great to see you. Thank you for coming here to see me, asking me those questions.